Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder. Terraria Calamity mod was released 8 years ago, but despite its massively growing popularity, there is one thing I've always wondered. Why is there no boss progression guide for Calamity on YouTube? A lot of Calamity players, either new or even veterans, often get confused on what boss to fight next or the current ones they should be fighting. Well, that's about to change. Good morning everyone, Get Good here, and in this video, I'll be showing you the complete guide on all the bosses you need to fight in order, so that you can enjoy and experience Calamity properly. There are more than 60 bosses in the entire Terraria Calamity mod, 33 from Vanilla and 27 from Calamity. This game is basically the player on a war against bosses. Speaking of war, War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and is available for free on PC and consoles. Take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to the fighter jets and battle tanks of today. Immerse yourself in the intense combat of War Thunder. With a worldwide community of over 70 million players, fight them in epic PvP battles. This game is basically a dream come true for the fans of military history. You know what I like most in War Thunder? It has one of the most detailed vehicle damage models in gaming. Every vehicle is modeled down to its individual components, like engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and crew. And of course, with comprehensive customization system. Not to worry, your old PC can run War Thunder, as this game is heavily optimized to deliver a lag-free experience with impressive visuals and high frame rates even on lower-end machines. So what are you waiting for? Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation or Xbox now by using my link in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players who haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms that includes multiple premium vehicles, exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. Limited time only, so be quick! Without further ado, let's start this video. First in order would be Desert Scourge. Now, you can fight King Slime or Eye of Cthulhu before this Desert Worm, but 3 of them are equally as easy. You summon Scourge by using Desert Medallion in the Desert Biome. Building a 2-layer platform arena with vertical spacing of around 9 blocks, combined with a shiny red balloon and a cloud in a bottle accessory, will help a lot, as vertical movement is one of the key components of beating most worm bosses. And I can't stress enough how underrated Hook is for a lot of pre-hard mode bosses in this video. Use them. After Desert Scourge, you can go ahead to the Sunken Sea biome in the Underground Desert to fight the giant Clam mini-boss. It is optional but easy to do. Second boss would be Crabulon. You'll eventually encounter a glowing mushroom biome during your cave exploration. Crabulon can spawn naturally and won't attack you, unless you bother her. But you can also summon her by using the Capodita Sprout. The fight is pretty straightforward and easy. Third boss in order would be your evil biome boss, Brain of Cthulhu if you chose Crimson, or Eternal Vaults if you chose Corruption. Continued by the fourth boss, either Hive Mind or Perforators, depending on your world evil. Corruption world would have Hive Mind, and Crimson would have Perforators. Summon them by popping their cyst in their own respective biome. And that's why you shouldn't pop your own pimples. Now, technically, you're more than capable of fighting Queen Bee or Deerclops, but they are optional vanilla bosses, so feel free to defeat them before Calamity's evil bosses or after. Fifth boss in order would be Skeletron. Since you gain access to mining Aerialite ore after Perforators or Hive Mine, I heavily recommend Aerospec armor and gears. Explore and get some useful loot from the dungeon, mine Hellstone if you haven't already, and prepare yourself for the sixth boss. It would be the Slime God. Now, they can be annoying to handle, but they are easy once you understand their pattern. Building an extremely long vertical arena, or better yet, drinking a gravitation potion and abusing the vertical maneuverability can easily chase them. Though Slime God will be receiving a rework, so I don't know if they're gonna nerf the gravitation potion cheese or not. Go to the underworld and build a long bridge there, drop a guide voodoo doll into lava, as the seventh boss is Wall of Flesh. Defeating Wall of Flesh will make you enter hard mode. Don't be confused to see there are only Paladin and Cobalt, or only gaining Souls of Night upon destroying evil altars, as Calamity changed how hard mode works. Now, you can go to the Sunken Sea biome again to refight Giant Clam, as it receives a huge buff during hard mode, and now drops stuff like Mollusk Husk, and some decent weapons. Get yourself a winter jacket, as the 8th boss is Cryogen. You summon it by using Cryo Key in the snow biome. Most early hard mode gears will do the job just fine, as it is a pretty easy boss, and serves as a good icebreaker to entering hard mode. Optionally, you can also fight Queen Slime. The Crystal Assassin armor set she drops provide you with a free dash, and overall advantage in mobility. After Cryogen, the 9th boss would be one of the 3 mechanical bosses. Most players heavily recommend the twins for the first mechanical boss to fight, so do that. But get yourself good vertical accessories first. Calamity changed how the mech boss work, so that only one tier of heart mode ore gets generated upon defeating each mech boss. They won't drop hallowed bar, and the next one will be harder than the previous one. For the 10th boss, it would be Aquatic Scourge. Some players prefer to fight this aquatic worm before one mechanical boss, but I recommend after, so that you don't struggle too much against it, yet still get the optimal fighting experience. Though if you are lazy, you are not required to fight Aquatic Scourge or the Acid Rain event. Do note that Acid Rain drops few good weapons like the Flak Toxic Cannon. For the 11th boss, it is the second mechanical boss. Players usually opt for Skeletron Prime instead of Destroyer, but with your newly crafted Mithril or Orichalcum gears, the second mech boss shouldn't be too much of a problem. For the 12th boss, it would be the Brimstone Elemental. You fight this hot waifu lady in the Brimstone Crack biome, located on the left side of your underworld biome. You summon her by using the Chart Idol, and yes, you can technically fight Brimstone after just one mech boss, but having a Titanium or Adamantite gears will improve the fighting experience overall. For the 13th boss, it would be the last mechanical boss for you, which typically would be the Destroyer. You should already have Titanium or Adamantite gears by this point. Upon defeating all the trio mechanical bosses, crafting Blood Orange is recommended to increase your maximum HP by 25. For the 14th boss in order, it would be either Plantera and Calamitas clone. Both bosses are equally as important to defeat in your progression. You can fight either of them first. I personally myself go with Plantera before Cal clone, because you can just move in the circle pattern against Plantera and win, while Calamitas clone can prove to be a bit of challenge for some beginners, as it is the first boss that introduces the players to bullet hell. It will get worse. Cores of Calamity, an essential material in crafting variety of weapons, will now be craftable. Before the 15th boss, there is a mini-boss you can fight in the desert biome, while there is a sandstorm called Great Sand Shark. But for the actual boss in the 15th order, it would be Anahita and Leviathan. You can summon them by attacking the triple question mark entity that spawns naturally in the beach biome. You fight only Anahita on the first phase, but you get to fight both Anahita and Leviathan during the second phase. In the 16th order, it would be Astrum Aureus. You can summon and fight this giant asteroid spider in the Astral Infection biome by using Astral Chunk. Though defeating Astrum Aureus is optional, and I tend to skip it in my playthroughs, defeating it can give you some good weapons depending on your class, notably unlocking Astral Chest in the dungeon, giving rogue players the powerful weapon Heaven Fallen Star Disc. In the 17th order, it would be Golem. Pretty straightforward. You go to the temple in the underground jungle biome and summon it on the center of the altar using Lizard Power Cell. Craft Miracle Fruit to further increase your maximum HP by 25. Now, after Golem, you have a choice to fight Fishron, Plaguebringer Goliath, Empress of Light, Ravager, or Lunatic Cultist. But here's the order I recommend. In the 18th order after Golem, I recommend players to fight Fishron first before any of the other bosses, due to the Fishron wings it can drop. I can't stress enough how important wing mobility is for the next few bosses. In the 19th order, I recommend Plaguebringer Goliath. You summon it by using Abomination in the underground jungle biome. You can summon Goliath on the surface jungle biome, but it will be in rage. So unless you want to make your life harder, don't. I highly recommend using a shield dashing accessory like Asgard's Valor. You use it by dashing when Goliath charges at you. It chooses the fight once you get a grasp of it. For the 20th boss, it would be Ravager. You summon it by using Death Whistle. It is essentially just a glorified golem with extreme crippling ADHD. For the 21st boss, it would be Empress of Light. Brutally slaughter a prismatic lacewing in the hallowed biome to summon her. If you struggle to fight against Empress of Light, try summoning her during daytime. Trust me, if you're using Calamity Inferno mod, you can enter the portal in the underground desert temple to encounter and fight Argus, the Bereft Fossil. He will be riding the Great Sand Shark. For the 22nd boss, I want you to go to the dungeon and ruin Lunatic Cultist's birthday party, summoning Celestial Pillars onto your world. Next, defeat the pillars you need for the class you're using in your playthrough. For example, Solar Pillar for melee. For the 23rd boss, before completely destroying the rest of the pillars, you can summon Astrum Deus by using Titan Heart in the Astral Beacon. This other space worm is optional but quite tanky. Feel free to skip this worm if you struggle too much against it. If you find that your life isn't stressful enough, and you require a real challenge, you can install the Calamity Catalyst mod and fight Astrageldon Slime. Astrageldon is a super boss, and only fightable before Moonlord has been defeated, so you can't use any post-Moonlord gears. Therefore, I would not blame you if you skip it, or some might even say get good. There is also Betsy and Old One's army. She technically counts as a boss, but nobody will judge you for thinking otherwise. For the 24th boss, boss, destroy the last celestial pillar in your world to summon Moonlord, the final boss of Vanilla Terraria, but not in Calamity. Avoid the death ray laser beams and you'll be fine. Upon defeating Moonlord, you'll now enter endgame. Craft yourself lunar tier gears using Luminites, as we're just getting started. For the 25th boss, you can fight Dragon Folly, aka Bumble Burb. You summon the burb by using exotic pheromones. But you can also fight this bird before Yaron. It is easy to beat and feels like a mini boss. For the 26th boss, it would be the Profaned Guardians. Use the Profaned chart to summon these fairy meatballs. If you're using the Inferno mod, you need to go to the altar in the Profaned Garden biome to use the Profaned chart there and summon them. Next after that, on the 27th spot would be Providence, the Profaned Goddess, aka the best boss fight in Calamity, in my opinion. Prepare yourself to taste the first bullet hell experience out of the many you'll encounter in Calamity's post-Moonlord. Infernum Providence is significantly different from the normal Calamity version, and I highly recommend you to try both versions. If you defeat Providence in the Hallowed, you get the wings, and if you defeat her in the Underworld, you get the shield. So you need to defeat her 2 times, as both of the accessories are very essential. Defeating Providence will reward you with Rune of Kos. Craft Elderberry to increase your maximum HP. Next after Providence, get some Ueli Bloom gears, as on the 28th spot, I'd recommend fighting the trio of the Rune of Kos bosses. You can summon them in their own respective biome. Stormweaver in the Space or Sky Island biome, Ceaseless Void inside the dungeon, and Cygnus in the Underworld biome. They don't pose too much of a challenge, so you'll honestly be fine. Defeating all 3 of them will grant you the material to craft Cosmic Worm, the summoning item for Devourer of Gods. But before that, I want you to go to the dungeon again, as on the 29th spot, it would be Poltergust. To summon this spider, you just need to defeat 30 phantom spirits inside the dungeon, or use a necroplasmic beacon. Base Calamity Poltergust is easy to defeat and provides you with solid loots, such as materials to craft Blood Flare armor and weapons. But Infernum Poltergust is a whole another story. For you Infernum players out there, get good. Optionally, on the number 30 spot, you can fight Old Duke. You summon this old Harampic abomination by doing the third tier of the Acid Rain event, or fishing using Bloodworm. By the way, you will also encounter the Nuclear Terror mini-boss during the Acid Rain event after Poltergust has been defeated. Now, Old Duke is getting a rework, so the devs are extremely likely to improve the overall experience of this fight. Finally, for the 31st spot, use the Cosmic Worm as now you get to fight the infamous Space Worm, Devourer of Gods. Despite its frightening reputation, Devourer is arguably one of the easier boss fights in Calamity. Just avoid the charging head attack and you'll be fine. The bullet hell during phase 2 isn't hard to dodge at all. Using a stable flying mount like a Brimrose or Cosmic Archie will help. Again, just avoid the head. By the time this guide is out, there might be an update that changed Devourer fight to be significantly more awesome, but I don't think they will change the order in which you fight Devourer. After defeating Devourer, craft a Cosmic Anvil, and fight all the Invasion events for their respective souls. Frost Moon for Endothermic Energy, Pumpkin Moon for Nightmare Fuel, Solar Eclipse for Dark Sun Fragments, and Dungeon for Necroplasm. Combine them all into Ascendant Spirit Essence, an essential material to craft endgame items, such as Cosmolite Gears, Asgardian Aegis, and Omega Healing Potions. For the 32nd spot, you will be fighting Yarim's pet bird, Yaron. You summon Yaron by using Blast Phoenix Egg, crafted using the feathers you obtain from defeating Dragon Folly. Don't touch the 2 flame pillars Yaron generates every time you summon him. They function somewhat like an arena border, and they'll insta-kill you if you touch them. Also, if you go outside the pillars, Yaron enrages, massively increasing his speed and quintupling his damage. So don't do that. By the time you're watching this video, Yaron might have already gotten a resprite or a rework, and I do hope that's the case. Don't worry, it won't switch the order of this boss progression. Upon defeating Yaron, Auric ores will start to generate in your world. Mine them to craft Auric Tesla gears and upgrade your gears to their maximum potential, like Seraph Tracers. Don't forget to increase your maximum HP by consuming Dragon Fruit, as now you'll be facing the final bosses in Calamity. If you're using Inferno mod, you can dive deep down the Abyss biome to the deepest layer to summon and fight Primordial Eidolon Worm. Defeating it will give you Terminus that you can use to summon Boss Rush. Though this worm is considered a mini-boss and is optional, you do need a Terminus to enter the Garden of Eden later. On the 33rd spot, you'll be fighting Exo-Mechs. Place down a full Codebreaker base with Auric Quantum Cooling Cell and interact with it to summon the Exo-Mechs. You get to choose in which you fight the trio mechanical bosses first, either Ares, Thanatos, or Artemis and Apollo. You eventually will have to fight all the 3 exo-mechanical bosses at once. My tip is make an extremely large world arena, more than you think you need, and utilize your Asgardian Aegis whenever you're being crawled up by Thanatos. I recommend defeating Exo-Mechs first, as they drop Exo-Box, aka Draedon's gaming chair, along with other powerful loots that will make it easier for you to fight Supreme Calamitas. Upon defeating Exo-Mechs, your next and final boss for now on the 34th spot will be Supreme Calamitas. Craft an altar of the accursed, and use the ashes of calamity you obtained previously from defeating Calclone to summon Escal. If you do decide to fight Escal first before Exo-Mechs, it is completely possible and some people do find that easier. Escal is the definition of bullet hell in Terraria. This battle is extremely tough, and you should be using the most powerful gears you currently have. If I have any tips, flying slower and more precisely in a controlled manner will help you avoid a lot of the bullet hell shenanigans. Upon defeating Supreme Calamitas, you've successfully defeated all the bosses in base Calamity mode. But I highly recommend installing Wrath of the Gods DLC, as right now is when you should be fighting the Gods of Calamity. If you do, on the 35th spot, you get to fight the Entropic God Noxus. You craft the summoning item for Noxus Genesis by using Shadow Spec bars. Noxus has multiple phases, and gets stronger and stronger the more the battle progresses, with even more insane visual effects each time, even to the point of being able to crack your screen. You don't actually get to defeat Noxus, as Nameless Deity will intercept your fight. You can only challenge Nameless Deity after defeating Noxus, as you've proven him your worth. And for the final boss as of 2024, you get to fight the God of Terraria Calamity mod, Nameless Deity. You first need to enter the Garden of Eden by using Terminus. Step onto the Tree of Revelation and witness an existential crisis. Deity will break your adrenaline and rage meter, so items that interact with them like Shattered Community or Guile's Greatsword will be less effective. I won't spoil the battle further. Witness Deity yourself. It is mind-blowing and defies the physics of Terraria. There are also the get-fixed boy shit bosses, like XB Infinite Hecate, the alternate route to Exo-Mechs, Supreme Alchemy Cirrus, the alternate route to Supreme Calamitas, and the Lorde, a meme boss. However, I wouldn't call 3 of these as bosses, as they primarily serve as an alternate route. And that's the entire full guide on Calamity boss progression. I did a lot of research and tried to make this guide as accurate as possible. Let me know if I did any mistakes or miss anything, and I'll be sure to write them down in the description of this video. I hope this guide video will help tons of you players out there. Get good signing out, and don't forget to play War Thunder using my link down below.